This conference will now be recorded.
Hello. Hello, Satish. Are you able to hear me?
You guys able to hear me now?
Yeah, now we are able to hear.
Oops, I think my mute button is not working properly. Just one more minute. Is it again working now?
Yes.
Okay, let me stop the recording. I'm sorry. I was thinking that everything all okay. I didn't actually look into the chat as well. Let me stop the recording. I don't want. Yeah.
This conference will
Sorry
now
for
be
that.
recorded.
Sorry for that, guys. Fine. So I don't know when it got muted the line. Anyway, did you guys not hear at all from the beginning, or is it in between?
No, we didn't hear you. Like we were not able to hear anything.
Okay, fine. No worries. Thank you. Fine. So the day one will get started from Monday. Okay, there are a couple of people who have registered, but they are going to join only from Monday. Okay. So what we thought is today it's going to be an off-topic that we're going to pick it from the list of sessions, right? Just for others to understand the style of teaching or the content, how do we go about, right? For them to just get an idea of that, I'm just going to get started with the off-topic called Java threads. Okay, and whoever registered already, whoever shared your email ID, I will give the access to the Google Drive after this call, so that you can set up your mission with all that softwares or tools over the weekend, so that you can get ready for the Monday's session, okay, upcoming sessions. Okay, fine. So I was mentioning about the capacity yesterday, right? So when it comes to capacity, there are three important attributes. One is going to be your CPU, second is your memory, third is going to be your thread. Okay, your CPU, say you have a Windows machine, for example, my laptop. You have a dual core and you have a 16 gig RAM. That is my Windows spec, Windows configuration. Okay, and then in that machine, I'll deploy my Java application inside a Tomcat. Right. So consider this as this is the Windows machine, the laptop, right? In that inside a Tomcat, I have my application war deployed, and this is going to, I can also go and set a heap to it. Say I need 8 gig or a 4 gig, right? So 16 gig RAM is my Windows configuration. Out of 16 gig, I need to probably allocate some 8 gig or 4 gig or 6 gig to my application, right? Obviously, I cannot give the entire 16 gig to the my Java application. That is not recommended, right? So you will do this configuration, which means your application is going to get bounded by some limit, right? It is not infinite. So you will have a limit on your CPU. If it's a dual core or a 4 core, right? You will have a 200% of CPU or a 400% of CPU. So there will be a limit on the CPU at some point of time based on the load, or you will hit a boundary on your heap. You cannot go beyond 8 gig or 10 gig or 12 gig for a 16 gig RAM, right? And third is going to be your threads. I'll be detailing out the JVM benchmarking later, right? Just try to follow it. This is more from the very high level basic of, from a capacity perspective. You have your CPU, which will have a boundary of two CPU or a 4 CPU. You'll have a memory where it will again have a boundary of 4 gig or 8 gig or 16 gig, and then you would have a thread, right? So thread is nothing but you can just think that as a task handler. Okay, so you're going to have a request coming from, say, Amazon.com. Okay, Amazon.com website. There are people who is going to connect to Amazon.com from your mobile or from a browser, and they're going to keep sending a request. Right? And your OS or your application server is going to receive the request, and all the processing are going to handle through a threads. Okay, the 10 requests coming at a time. There are going to be 10 threads which is going to handle each task concurrently, right? So you just think that as a thread as a task handler. Okay, and for every thread to work, it is going to execute a login, it is execute a logout, it is going to execute a search, and depending upon the response time, right? Login can take 3 seconds, a search can take 5 seconds. For that 3 seconds or 5 seconds, your thread is going to be active and it is going to consume CPU. So which means every thread which is going to be, when it is going to be active, it is going to use the CPU, and CPU is going to have a limit. So you cannot just go and have thousands of thread, which is not possible, because it is going to be getting bounded by a underlying CPU. You cannot go beyond a 100% CPU limit, right? So everything is going to have a boundary. Your threads are going to have a boundary. You can have only these maximum thread. This is your CPU limit. This is your memory limit, right? So that is how you define your capacity of your system. How to determine these thresholds, how to determine the max of your thread, max of a heap, that is where your JVM benchmarking will come into picture, which we'll be dealing it later. Okay. For our topic, I'm just giving you an overview. From a capacity, you need CPU, you need memory, you need threads, which is going to control your capacity. Okay. So the thread, the way thread works in your machine, right? I just always compare that with kind of the way Swiggy works. Okay, just for us to remember the concept, not exactly it is one-on-one comparison or apple-to-apple comparison, but just for us to interestingly remember this or learn this, right? I compare this the way Swiggy works. Okay, you all know this Swiggy kind of a food app where there are going to be the delivery folks who are going to wait somewhere near to the restaurant or near in that area, waiting for the orders, right? So you from your home take your mobile app and then you will order. I also do the ordering. Some other people also will be ordering, right? So at the beginning, when there are no orders, all these Swiggy delivery agents will be waiting somewhere idle, waiting for the orders. Right? Once one of us order a food, this delivery agent will get allotted. Right? Whoever is free will get allotted with the work. Okay, and then you'll wait for the food to be prepared, and once the food is prepared, you will take it and deliver it, and that's how every person will work. Right? So you will be moving around, you'll be idle for some time, you'll be waiting for the food to be prepared in the restaurant, and then you'll be delivering it. So that is how the entire Swiggy folks will work, right? And one more interesting thing is the Swiggy deploys the busy hours, right? In the morning or in the late in the evening, they might deploy say 10 people because they expect more business. But in the afternoon or maybe maybe in the morning time, 10 a.m., 11 a.m., there is not going to be a lot of people ordering the food, so they will just deploy 2 or 3 delivery agents. And depending upon the traffic, they know when they need more people, when they need less people. Okay, now if you just come back to our service, okay? In the service, we also configure your threads. Okay, your threads are going to get started when your server gets started. Okay, and they are initially they'll be waiting for the request to come, and when a request is going to come, whichever thread is idle, the request will get allotted there. Okay, and then it will process the your request, and then once the request is completed, it will go and send the response back to the whoever has initiated, right? And depending upon the traffic, right, if there are 5 threads are configured, if all the 5 threads are busy, your 6th request or 7th request will wait for the threads to get free, right? So threads will become busy, will become idle, will be waiting for the server to complete the processing. So the state of threads will keep changing the way even the Swiggy delivery agent status changes. And one more thing is, server also handle this traffic, peak traffic in a similar way, right? You can give minimum what you want, maximum you want, right? Minimum I need 10 threads, maximum I need 20 threads. So when the traffic is more, it will start with 10 threads. But when there is a more traffic is coming, if it thinks that all the 8, 9 threads are busy, then additional threads are going to get created to handle more traffic. And vice versa, when the threads are going to be idle, right, it will again bring down the threads from 20 to 10, the minimum, right? So yeah, so from a conceptual, right, it is kind of the way your Swiggy delivery agent works, not apple to apple comparison, but more from the way both works in a similar way, right? So which means the thread states, right, the thread states are going to be new when it is going to get created. Your JVM starts, all the threads are going to get created new. Or when the threads are going to move from a minimum to maximum, so you have minimum 10 threads, and then it is going to go to 11 or 12. So whenever thread is created, it is going to be there in the new state. And from there, it can go to a runnable, you can call it as a runnable, or it is a parking, or it is idle. So it is ready to take the work. It is idle. It is ready. There is no task allocated. That is a state called runnable or parking, or they call it as anything, idle, parking, runnable, all three are same. From there, once a task is assigned, it will go to running, right? So from running, you can also go to waiting. Okay, waiting can be different. It can be because of some blocked state, threads are getting blocked, or there is a timed waiting. I'll explain you in detail, okay, as we move along. Okay, so these are the various thread states. Okay, for us to better understand this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to my application is already running. I started the Tomcat the way I did yesterday. Okay, I went to my Tomcat folder, and then I have go to the bin, and then I have started the application. Okay, and then my application is now running in the Tomcat. Okay, now I'll show you the in the Tomcat to configure the your threads. Okay, you go to configuration file, you go to the server.xml. Okay, so in the server.xml, if you come down, you will have something called connector, where you will mention which port your application will be running, and for this, what is your max thread and minimum thread. Okay, so minimum thread is 3, max thread is 6. Okay, which means when JVM starts, it will start with 3 threads, and then if there is a more load, then it will go to 6, but not more than 6. Same way, when there is no traffic, it will again come back to 3. See, that's how the min and max works. What is the max we have to give it? That is the exercise we have to do it from a JVM benchmarking, which we will be looking into it later after 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Okay, so in the configuration file in the server.xml, we give this min and max. Now, what I will do is I have opened a Visual VM. Okay, so Visual VM, again, it is there in the drive, Google Drive, or you can also download it. Okay, so once you open the Visual VM, okay, you just open your Tomcat. The Tomcat will show here. All the Java application will show here in the left hand side. You open the Tomcat and go to the threads. Okay, so in the threads, you look for your 8083 executor threads. Yeah, it is here. If you see here, these are your threads that we have configured. Okay, 8083 execute -exec 367. There are 3 threads that are up and running. Okay, because we have just given 3, so it will give only 3. Where it is? Oops, 1 second. I'll sort it. Yeah, 3. Okay, now if you see, all are in orange color. Okay, this orange color is nothing but park. Okay, This parking is nothing but, I was saying that it is idle or parking. There is no work done by your threads. Okay, there are other states like running, sleeping, monitor, waiting, right? All these things are all different states. We'll go one by one. Okay, what I'll do is I'll just go and start a very small test using Jmeter, just for us to see this what is happening, right? I'll just say 2 users, okay, and then start it. Now if you see this orange color, it will go into other colors, right? It can be green, or it can be waiting or sleeping. Now if you see executor 6 it's in green, 7 is in light blue, and then executor 3 now it is picked the in the sleeping mode. So if you see, there's a movement happening between 3, 6, 7 randomly. There are 2 users trying to access your application. Okay. But if you see, there will be only 3 threads already started. It is using the 3 randomly. Okay, the thread moves between your parking, and then running, and then monitor. I'll go through what is monitor. Monitor is very important because it is a performance issue. It means your threads are getting blocked. Okay, we'll go through that in detail later. But these are the different state of your threads. Now, if I'll go and stop this. Okay, and then I'll just say I need 6 threads. Okay, now you will see that since there are more traffic coming, your server will think that I will not be able to handle the traffic. So it will give you more threads. We see now there are 10, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so all 6 threads are now maximum 6 is given. So all the 6 threads are now started, and everything is handling the request. It goes between parking, sleeping, parking, monitor, running. All these things happens. Okay. Now again, if I go, let me go and stop the test. Okay. So I'm stopping the test, and after a few seconds or a few minutes, right? You will see that the additional threads will get everything. Now it goes into parking state, okay, because there is no traffic happening. Okay. So after some time, your 3 threads will get deleted. Okay, there's a question, 1 thread means 1 session. No, it's not 1 thread means 1 session. See, when you say a session, a user is logging in, you will do a login. That is a request coming to your server, will be handled by a thread. And then next is you might be doing say search, or an add librarian, delete librarian. Every request or a transaction that is happening will be handled by a thread. Okay, so it is not like for every session once you log in, a thread is allocated to you. Until you log out, will that thread will be there for you? No, it will just forget. You send a request, it will process the request, it will send it back to you. That's it, right? A thread is not going to be dedicated for a session, rather it is dedicated only for that particular moment, particular request. Okay, if you see now only 3 threads are there, automatically it deleted the remaining 3 threads, right? So that is how your thread pool is going to work. Thread pool is going to have a min configuration, maximum configuration, and your number of depending on number of traffic, the threads are going to increase, and then it is going to decrease as well. Okay, you can also monitor the same thing. Let me go to my AppDynamics as well. Once again, where it is. So let me go to my home and then pick my app. Okay, and then I'll go to the TSN notes and then to my here, and I'll go to the JMX matrix. Okay, so in the JMX matrix, if I go to my JMX and go to the web container runtime, if I go to the 8083 port, there you can see my maximum threads are 6, and then now currently number of threads in pool is 3, and then busy threads are, so depending upon the load, right, you will get to see all the number of busy threads, number of threads in pool, maximum threads, request count, all these things you can get it from your AppDynamics as well. And one more interesting and easy thing is, if I go back to my home, you see there's a red color mark. Okay, dashboard. Okay, if you see here in the right hand side, there's something called health rule violation. Okay, if you go to this event, okay, if you go to this event, you see that there are couple of alerts. Okay, one, it says that your web thread pool has exceeded 80% of the limit. Current pool size is 6, max is 6. Okay, because you saw that all the 6 threads are doing some activity. Maximum it spun up 6 threads, all 6 threads are busy. So in AppDynamics, right, intelligently it is catching these alert saying that your thread pool is more than 80%. So it throws an error. Okay, so it happened at somewhere now at 9:29 p.m. It happened at 8:46 p.m. And there's also another thing which is captured is your heap utilization is too high. Okay, so these are all we'll go in detail later. But again, I just wanted to show how this overall the way we look into the threads, right? So we have run a test. We looked into how the threads are created, deleted, and then to monitor the thread utilization, we can do it in the AppDynamics. We also get alerts when something gets exceeded. That's a power of AppDynamics, right? You can go and set your thresholds, and you no need to go and look into 10 places. In a single place, you will be able to get to know whether during my last 1 hour, right, whether my last 1 hour or last 3 hours, I have run a test. So in the last 3 hours, what all problem has happened in my server? Is there a problem with my heap? Is there a problem with my CPU? Is there a problem with my thread? Is there a problem with my transaction response time? Everything you'll be able to go and set it up in the rules, and then you would be able to get those alerts in all these things. You can set it out as an threshold, and when something is deviated during a load test, it will get listed in your under the events, right? Yeah, anyway, these things will be getting in detail when we look into AppDynamics session later. And then all these what is thread contention, when we get these thread contention problems during a stress test, during a scalability test, we get these contention problems, we go and increase the threads. This we saw that monitor state, right, block the state. So what is the block the state? How do we analyze the block the state? What is thread dump? All these things we'll be looking into in detail when the sessions are going to come up later. Okay, yeah, so I'll just take a pause here in case if you have any questions on this topic or in general about the course content. Yeah, feel free to ask.
Satish, Prashant here. Can you share, the course content, like, what are the topics we are covering, so that, at least we can prepare before our meeting.
The course content I already shared it yesterday. So do you want to share it through what? Mm,
No, you told like we'll be getting some access to drive, right? So
yeah,
that
yeah.
access we didn't get. So
Yeah. I said that. Yeah. Today, after the call, whoever has registered and given your email ID, right? I'll give the access right away after this call. So you can expect a late, maybe after 30 minutes while the session are ended, you'll get an access.
okay, good, sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can go to the drive, right? Once you get an access, I'll send the link as well. So this is a folder for which you will get an access. Okay, and then minimal thing what you can do is there is also one YouTube link. You will the playlist whatever you are having it, right? In that I'll add one more video of the one which I have recorded for these basic installations, right? So Tomcat, how to copy the war file, how to start it, the basic configuration of these things are I have made a video, simple 10-15 minutes video. Okay, that also I'll ask the team to add it to the playlist. That will help you to get started with a few of these initial setup. Okay, so you can download the Tomcat from here. Okay, this Tomcat you can download it, or you can also download it from internet. Not a problem at all. And then you can just go and take the war file from the response time analysis. Any war file you can take it for your um, trying it out. Okay, maybe do one thing for initially. You just take this no db calls. Okay, because if there are war files for which even for a login you need a db setup. We'll do it later. Okay, so just take this no db calls. Okay, so that you will not have a problem with the database interaction. Okay, so you install your Tomcat and then get this war file. Two things are the minimal thing that you would require, and also Eclipse. Yeah, Eclipse as well. If you go, you will find the Eclipse in the internet, or you can also download it from. I might have the Eclipse somewhere here, or it might be a huge file I wouldn't have copied. Let me check it out. If not, yeah, you can definitely download it from the internet itself. Okay, I have in the software sheet, right? I would have given the link from where you can download. Yeah, it's not there. You can download it from the internet. Eclipse you can download, Java, Tomcat, and you can get the war file from the response time folder. Okay, and I'll send you the video which will help you to do this initial setup itself little easily. Okay, still if you have a issue with setting up, you might get an issue with Tomcat is not starting, all these things, right? It is good to get the errors. You try to find out the solution from the internet, searching for the error. From now you should always think that um, you are going to solve many problems, right? Installation problems, configuration problems. So have the mindset that there are going to be problem while you are going to install the software. Like anyone, even the experienced people, when they're going to install something in the new machine, they will get a problem, but there are going to be solution available. Okay, so yeah, so you will get a confirmation from me once I give the access in a couple of minutes. Okay, and yeah. So I'll share this schedule as well over the weekend. What date, what we are going to cover in the next coming weeks. So this will help you to plan your activities. Okay. Uh, yeah. Anyone has any other questions with respect to the topics that we are going to cover? Overall session, anything you have doubts? Feel free to ask. Okay, and any questions related to the enrollment or registration, please reach out to Kumar sir. Okay, And over the weekend, if you have any questions, still have any doubts regarding whether it is the right topic for you, right session, right course for you or not, if you have any questions, feel free to put a message to me, or we can connect over the call. Just for my understanding, based on my understanding, I can give you the recommendation whether it is required or not. Okay. Yeah. So feel free to put a message to me, and we can discuss during the weekend. Okay. Fine, guys. If there is no question, yeah, we can probably, the sessions will get started from Monday. So be prepared for that. Yeah. Thanks for your time, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.